பக்தி மார்க்கத்துக்கு வித்திட்டது யார்? தமிழ் மொழியை வளர்த்தது யார்? நாம் கற்க வேண்டியது யாது? இவ்வனைத்துக்கும் விடை ஆழ்வார்களும் அவர்கள் கொடுத்த திவ்ய பிரபந்தமுமே ஆகும். ஆழ்வார்களின் வாழ்க்கை வரலாறும் அவர்கள் அருளிச் செய்த பாசுரங்களில் உள்ள அழகும் அந்த அழகுக்கு மேலும் அழகு சேர்க்கும் வியாக்கியானங்களும் அந்த பாசுரங்களால் பொலிவு பெறும் திவ்ய தேசங்களும் இவ்வனைத்தையும் ஒருங்கிணைக்கும் வகையே அபிநவ பாடசாலா வழங்கும் பிரபந்த சாரபோதனி, a comprehensive e-course. மேலும் விவரங்களுக்கு kindly visit www.desikadaya.org/aep. வாரீர் பக்தி தமிழில் இணைவோம்.
जय जय महावीर महाधीर धौरेय देवासुर समर समय समुदित निखिल निर्जर निर्धारित निरवधिक महात्म्य दशवदन दमित दैवत परिषदभ्यर्थित दाशरथि भाव दिनकर कुल कमल दिवाकर दिविशदधिपति रण सहचरण चतुर दशरथ चरमरण विमोचन कोसल सुता कुमार भाव कंचुकित कारणाकार कौमार केळि गोपायित कौशिकाध्वरा ರಣಾಧ್ವರ ಧೂರ್ಯ ಭವ್ಯ ದಿವ್ಯಾಸ್ತ್ರ ಬೃಂದ ವಂದಿತ ಪ್ರಣತ ಜನ ವಿಮತ ವಿಮಥನ ದುರ್ಲಲಿತ ದೋರ್ಲಲಿತ ತನುತರ ವಿಶಿಖವಿತಾಡನ ವಿಘಟಿತ ವಿಶರಾರು ತಾಟಕ ತಾಟಕೇಯ ಜಡಕಿರಣ ಶಕಲಧರ ಜಟಿಲ ನಟಪದಿ ಮಕುಟದಟ ನಟನ ಪಟು ವಿಬುಧ ಸರಿದತಿ ಬಹುಳ ಮಧುಗಳ ಲಲಿತ ಬದನ ನಿರಚ ಉಪಮೃದಿತ ನಿಜ ವೃಜಿನ ಜಗದು ಬಲ ತನು ರುಚಿರ ಪರಮ ಮುನಿವರ ಯುವತಿನುತ ಕುಶಿಕ ಸುತ ಕಥಿತ ವಿದಿತ ನವ ವಿವಿಧ ಕಥಾ ಮೈಥಿಲ ನಗರ ಸುಲೋಚನ ಲೋಚನ ಚಕೋರ ಚಂದ್ರ ಖಂಡ ಪರಶು ಕೋದಂಡ ಪ್ರಕಾಂಡ ಖಂಡನ ಶೌಂಡ ಭುಜದಂಡ ಚಂಡಕರ ಕಿರಣ ಮಂಡಲ ಬೋಧಿತ ಪುಂಡರೀಕವನ ರುಚಿಲುಲ್ಟ ಕಲೋಚನ ಮೋಚಿತ ಜನಕ ಹೃದಯ ಶಂಕಾತಂಕ ಪರಿಹೃತ ನಿಖಿಲ ನರಪದಿ ವರಣ ಜನಕ ದುಃಖಿ ತ್ರಿಕುಜ ದಟ ವಿಕರಣ ಸಮುಚಿತ ಕರತಲ ಶತಕೋಟಿ ಶತಗುಣ ಕಠಿಣ ಪರಶುಧರ ಮುನಿವರ ಕರಧೃತ ದುರವನ ಮದ ಮನಿಜ ಧನುರಾಕರ್ಷಣ ಪ್ರಕಾಶಿತ ಪಾರಮೇಷ್ಠ್ಯ ಕದುಕರ ಶಿಖರಿ ಕೌತುಕ ವಿಹೃತ್ಯುನ್ಮುಖ ಜಗದರುಂತುದ ಜಿತ ಹರಿದಂತಿ ದಂತದಂತುರ ದಶವದನ ದಮನ ಕುಶಲ ದಶಶತ ಭುಜ ಮುಖ ನೃಪತಿ ಕುಲ ರುಧಿರ ಝರ ಭರಿತ ಪೃಥುತರ ತಟಾಕ ದರ್ಪಿತ ಪಿತೃಕ ಭೃಗುಪತಿ ಸುಗದಿ ವಿಕಟಿ ಕರನದ ಪರುಡಿ ಶುಭ ನಿಘಾ
यस्या भवद्भक्तजनार्तिसन्तुः प्रदीक्षमन्येष्य विचार्यतूर्णम् तं देवतारस्तमनन्यलभ्यं लक्ष्मीनृसिंहं शरणं प्रपद्ये श्रीरङ्गनाथसहोदयदिन्ददृष्टं लक्ष्मीनृसिंहजगत्करुणैकपात्रं श्रीरङ्गवीररुद्राक्षसहोदयुज्यं वेदान्तदेशिकेतीन्द्रमहं प्रपद्ये. Namaste. Today we have all assembled to watch a wonderful program. This is organized by Abhinav Pathashala, which is an organization floated by Sri Uve Dushyant Sridhar. He is a well-known person in the field of Vaidika Vedanta Vishaya for the younger generation. This program is the second in the series of Vidvat Sadas in e-media. Last program was successfully conducted by my Acharya, Dr. Uve V.S. Karunakaracharya Swami, and following his footsteps, we will do one more program in the area of Ramayana and other Puranas. The topic of today's Sadas is Tirupavai Pashuram number 30. Tirupavai is an important verse in the Nalayira Divya Prabandham. A person who does not know Tirupavai, his birth is a waste. That is what the scriptures say. This 13th Pashuram, Sri Andal has mentioned a phrase, and we are going to divide that phrase. The Tirupavai Pashuram is about performing Nombu during the month of Margazhi, in which Sri Andal and her friends are organizing it. Sri Andal is waking up some of her friends one by one, and in the order, in the 13th Pashuram also, she wakes up one of her friends. The Pashuram goes like this: Kullinvai Kindanai, Kolla Arakkanai, Killi Kalendanai, Kirtimai Padipoi. Here, she has not spelled who is the person, which incarnation of Lord Sriman Narayana is mentioned in this Pashuram. That is what we are going to debate. This debate is participated by 4 learned speakers. Some of them are known to you earlier and some are new. The first speaker is Dr. Vipuli Venkatesh. He has been a model speaker and giving discourses for last over a decade. He is one of the bright, talented person, and who is a doctor by profession, a physician. But in the area of Vedanta Vishaya, he is also a doctorate, we can call him. He is a very good speaker. He has written so many articles in various magazines. He is giving discourses in various medias, including TV channels, etc. A very prolific speaker who can present his points in a very structured manner. The second speaker is Sri Vijayaraghavan Swami, who is also coming from a very learned scholar family. He is also doing Kalakshepam with Dr. V.S. Karunakaracharya Swami. He is one of his disciples and he is also a good speaker. He is an IT professional and he is in the area of Vedanta Vishaya for last 15 years. The third speaker is my son, Sri Hari Saranathan. He is a person from the young age interested in all our Sampradaya Vishaya, maybe the blessings of our forefathers. He is into this area, has a liking, and from the time of his young age, he has learned Divya Prabandha. He has done Kalakshepam of the Grantha Chaturthaya, 3 he has completed, and the fourth, the important one of Sri Bhashya, he is doing Kalakshepam under Dr. P.S. Karnagaracharya Swami. The fourth speaker is a very well-known person, Sri Dushyant Sridhar, about whom I can speak for another half an hour also. But I have a limited time. He is very, very enthusiastic and a very inquisitive person who wants to learn. He has also come and taken some lessons from me. I am very proud to say this. He is one of the talented person, and he is at this young age. He has dedicated himself totally to the Sampradaya issue. He is a very high flyer. He is educated in BITS Pilani and he was in a very high employment. But still, he thought that the worth of being in this world is not this material life. We have to be of service to our community and our Sampradaya. He has shown such an interest that he has used all his latest knowledge and technology for the Sampradaya spreading and reaching the mass. See, today, the younger generation, they are all not having enough exposure to our Sampradaya. Unfortunately, the traditional way of teaching do not fit into their curriculum. Therefore, we have to adapt and give it to them in the way they will receive it. And in that manner, Sri Dushyant Sridhar is doing a women's service. He is taking the Sampradaya not only to the youngsters in our country, all over the world. He has got a very good fan club. Most of the people whom are all new and they want to learn are very much happy about the way Sri Dushyant Sridhar is giving them the knowledge. So now, today the topic of Sadas is about in which is the incarnation Andal is referring to in the phrase Kolla Arakkanai Killi Kalaindhanai. The words are Kolla Arakkan. Kolla means very cruel. Arakkan means the agar. The person who is a very, by nature, agar, the Rakshas are very cruel. But in addition, they are very cruel in their own manner. They have acquired further cruelty in their actions. So that Kolla Arakkanai Killi Kalaindha. That means, just like that, the Lord has slayed him. Who is that incarnation? And who is that Kolla Arakkan? These things will be debated by all the speakers, and the first speaker is going to deliberate that the incarnation is Lord Narasimha, and the second speaker is going to deliberate that the incarnation is Parashurama. The third speaker is going to deliberate that the incarnation of Rama is mentioned by Sri Andal, and lastly Sri Dushyant will mention that the total incarnation mentioned in the Pasuram is Krishna. So let us be ready and listen to them patiently, and I will come back to conclude this session to say that what is in the mind of Sri Andal while composing this Pasuram. Thank you, and wish you all a happy listening of these prolific speakers, and it will be interesting to you and you will enjoy it. Thank you.
संहारात्तु नखेन दैत्य नृपतेः तस्यापि रक्षो गुणात् भूयः क्रूरमतेः तथैव शरभस्यास्यस्य भङ्गात् हरेः कीर्तेश्चापि जगत्सु च रिपोरुन्मूलनात् मर्दनात् गोदायाः कुलनायको नरहरिः तच्छ्रीव्रते प्रस्तुतः. Good evening to all. In the line Kolla Arakkanai Killi Kalaindhanai, in the 13th song of Tirupavai, Andal refers to which incarnation of the Lord? Narasimha, Parashurama, Rama or Krishna? The topic given to me is Lord Narasimha. Therefore, in an effort to do justice to the given topic, I would like to present my arguments in the form of 7 points as usual. Point number 1. Andal says, Killi Kalaindan, the Lord nipped or plucked the wicked demon with his nails and destroyed him. The term Killi Kalaindan, nipping with nails, suits Lord Narasimha alone. Parashurama had a weapon called Parashu or axe. Lord Rama always quoted his divine bow Kodanda, and we call him Kodandapani. Krishna, he used his Sudarshana Chakra to destroy the demons. But it is Lord Narasimha alone who used his nails as weapons to kill the wicked demon Hiranyakashipu. Vikaswara Nakaswarukshata Hiranyavakshastali. Swami Vedanta Deshika says in Kamasikashtakam, the shining nails of Lord Narasimha tore apart the chest of Hiranyakashipu. So the lion, Polla Arakkanai Killi Kalaindan, clearly refers to Narasimha. Let us go to the words of other Alvars also. Poigai Alvar says, Iraniyanai Punniranda Vallugir. In Tamil, Ugir means nail. Poigai Alvar says, Iraniyanai Punniranda Vallugir. Bhudat Alvar says, Kolariyai Ontiralon Marvathu Ugir Vaitu. Peyalvar says, Arivuruvamagi Iraniyanadu Agam Teri Ugiral Kindan Sinam. Tirumalizai Piran says, Varathinil Sirathai Mikka Valaitru Matravan Urathinil Karathai Vaithu Ugirtalathai Undrinai. Nammalvar says, Agam says Narasingam Adagi Or Agam Vallugiral Pilandan. Tirumangai Alvar says, Angan Nyalamanja Angor Alariyai Avunan Ponga Agam Vallugiral Polda Punidan. Andal's father says, Ulanduttu Iraniyan Onmarvu Agalam Pilanditta Kaigalal Sappani. Andal herself says in Nachiyar Tirumozhi, Vallugiral Iraniyanai Udal Yadandan. All these different verses sung by different Alvars unanimously say the same thing. Lord Nrsimha nipped the wicked demon Hiranyakashipu with his nails. So our interpretation of the line Polla Arakkanai Killi Kalaindan as referring to Narasimha goes in line with the Sri Suktis of all these great Alvars and Acharyas. Nrsimha Gayatri calls him Vajranaka, the Lord with Vajrayuda like nails. And Mantra Rajapada Stotram says, Nakagre Shakali Chakre Yastam Viram Namamyaham. Madhvacharya wrote a hymn exclusively in praise of Lord Narasimha's nails, which is called Narasimha Nakastuti. So Lord Narasimha is well renowned for his nails. Parashurama is identified with his axe, Rama with his bow, Krishna with his chakra, but it is Nrsimha alone who is always identified with his glorious nails. Therefore, Killi Kalaidal, plucking or nipping the wicked demon with his nails and destroying him, suits Lord Narasimha alone better than any other incarnation. So, the other scholars are bound to show proof regarding the act of killidal or nipping in the other incarnations of the Lord. Point number 2. There are two groups of demons. One is Araka, the other one is Asura. Arakars are demonic beings with bloodlust and they eat human flesh. Asuras are the sons of Kashyapa and Diti Devi and they are the enemies of Devas. Now, Hiranyakashipu was an Asura. Ravana was an Araka. The line in this Tirupavai goes as Polla Arakkanai Killi Kalaindan. Since Hiranyakashipu is an Asura, doesn't the word Polla Arakkan denote Araka Ravana? The answer is, it need not necessarily denote Ravana alone. Why? Firstly, the terms Araka and Asura have been used interchangeably. There are many examples. Some Asuras have been referred to as Arakas and vice versa. For example, the name of the Araka who was slain by Shatrughna is Lavanasura. Though he has Asura as his surname, he is actually an Araka by birth. So the words Araka and Asura have been used interchangeably. Secondly, the word Araka is the Tamil equivalent of the Sanskrit word Rakshasa. Etymologically in Sanskrit, Rakshasa means a person with demonic tendency. Since Hiranyakashipu possessed loads and loads of demonic tendency and lots of Rajoguna, there is no problem in calling him a Rakshasa or Araka also. No doubt, he was as ferocious as any other Araka. A famous Tamil song goes like this: இன்னோர் உயிரை கொன்று புசிப்பது மிருகமடா, இன்னோர் உயிரை கொன்று ரசிப்பவன் அரக்கனடா. Which means animals kill other creatures to eat them. Arakars kill other creatures and derive pleasure from such cruel act of killing. We can see such cruelty in the actions of Hiranyakashipu. That's why in Sri Vishnu Purana, Maitreya Rishi expresses his wonder to Parashara Maharishi, saying, how come this Hiranyakashipu do all such cruel acts towards his own son Prahlada, who is a Dharmatma, who is a great Bhagavata, but what kind of cruel acts Hiranyakashipu has done against his own son? Kim nimittam asau shastraihi vikshipto ditijairmune kimartam cha abdi salile vikshipto dharma tatparaha akrantav parvataih kasmat dashtaschaiva mahoragaihi digdantinam dantabhagaihi sachakasmat nipiditaha halahalam visham ghoram daityasudair mahatmanaha. So Hiranyakashipu had possessed such demonic tendency or rakshasa swabhava to kill his own son. Hiranyakashipu proclaimed himself as God and asked everybody else to worship him and chant his names. Therefore, in the line Polla Arakkanai Killi Kalaindan, the term Arakkan etymologically refers to Hiranyakashipu, and therefore Polla Arakkanai Killi Kalaindan, the Lord who nipped that Araka with his nails, is none other than Lord Nrsimha. Point number 3. Andal says, Polla Arakkan. Please look at the adjective Polla. A very wicked demon. Among Shishupala, Dantavakra, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, etc., the most wicked fellow is Hiranyakashipu, because Shishupala did apacharam towards Bhagavan. Ravana committed apacharam to Pirati. King Kartaviryaarjuna committed apacharam to Parashurama's father Jamadagni. But Hiranyakashipu committed apacharam towards the child Prahlada, who is one of the greatest Bhagavatas. So Hiranyakashipu had committed Bhagavata apacharam. So the adjective Polla suits Hiranyakashipu only perfectly. Thirumangai Alvar says, Palliyil Odi Vanda Tan Siruvan Vayil Orayira Namam Ulliyavagi Poda Angadanukku Ondrumor Puruppilanagi Pillayai Siri Vegundu. With such colossal anger, Hiranyakashipu tried to kill Prahlada in many ways and tortured him. In Tamil Sangam literature Paripadal, we have a song about this. புகைந்த நெஞ்சின் புலர்ந்த சாங்கின் பிருங்கலாதன் பல பல பிணிபட வலந்துழி மலர்ந்த நோய்க்கூர் கூம்பிய நடுக்கத்து அலர்ந்த புகழோன். So please remember, Shishupala's apacharam was towards Bhagavan, Ravana towards Pirati, Kartaviryaarjuna towards Jamadagni, but Hiranyakashipu committed the most cruel apacharam, Bhagavata apacharam. Since Bhagavata apacharam is the most sinful act of all, it would be apt to call Hiranyakashipu as Polla Arakkan, the most wicked among the lot. Brahmaputra Nrite Bhita Menire Vishwasamplavam, says Bhagavata Purana. During the birth of Hiranyakashipu, there were earthquakes, there were horrible thunders, terror among creatures, hazardous movements of planets. It appeared as if deluge was approaching. So the events which happened during the birth of Hiranyakashipu bear testimony to what kind of a cruel person he is. Therefore, Hiranyakashipu, who committed Bhagavata apacharam, is the most fierce, wicked, cruel Polla Arakkan. Killi Kalaindan of this Polla Arakkan is none other than Lord Narasimha. So, the other scholars have to check whether the other demons had performed more cruel acts than the Bhagavata apacharam committed by Hiranyakashipu. Point number 4. The preceding line of the same verse of Tirupavai, that is, Pullinvai Kindan, also holds good for Lord Narasimha. Pullinvai Kindan literally means the Lord who tore open the mouth of the bird. Kurathalvan says in his Adimanushastavam, Hai Martya Simha Vapushastavateja Somshe Shambhur Bhavan Hi Sharabha Shalabo Babuva. When the Devas, in a bid to contain the anger of Lord Narasimha, created a bird called Sharaba and sent it against Narasimha, Narasimha tore the mouth of that bird and crushed it. So, Pullinvai Kindan can denote Narasimha slaying Sharaba also. Obviously, the succeeding line, Polla Arakkanai Killi Kalaindan, also refers to the same Narasimha slaying Hiranyakashipu. Point number 5. The next line of this same Tirupavai song says, கீர்த்திமை பாடி போய் பிள்ளைகள் எல்லாரும் பாவை களம் புக்கார். All the children who had travelled by singing the fame and glories of the Lord have now reached Pavai Kalam. Here, Kirtimai Padi means singing the Kirti or fame of the Lord. The Lord who possesses such indomitable fame or Kirti all over the world is none other than Narasimha. Vishnu Sahasranama rightly calls Narasimha as Vishrutatma. The 209th name of Vishnu Sahasranama, it denotes Narasimha, Vishrutatma. Parashara Bhattar in his illustrious commentary says, Sa eva sarvada sarvatra sarvaihi vismayena shruta saimhapadana swabhavaha. It means the exploits of Lord Narasimha are heard with wonder by all at all times and at all places, and hence he is called Vishrutatma. So Kirtimai Padipoi, singing fame or Kirti, also suits our Vishrutatma Lord Narasimha. Whenever we take a particular line for discussion or debate, we have to take the preceding as well as succeeding lines also, so that we can come to a proper conclusion based on the context. In this case, the preceding line Pullinvai Kindan and the succeeding line Kirtimai Padipoi also suit Lord Narasimha perfectly. So the other scholars have to just check the preceding and succeeding lines and see whether they suit their arguments. Point number 6. An argument may arise here. Killudal means nipping. Kalaidal means destroying. Since the siblings Hiranyakashipu Hiranyaksha, Ravana Kumbhakarna and Shishupala Dantavakra are all none other than Jaya and Vijaya from Vaikunta taking consecutive births, there is a possibility to argue that either Narasimha, Parashurama or Rama, they did the job of Killudal, nipping alone, and finally Krishna did the ultimate job of Kalaidal, destroying them. Such argument can arise, but such argument could be more of a poetic fancy than a logical point. No doubt, Narasimha destroyed the body of Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu's soul may take next birth as either Ravana or Shishupala, that is different. But Narasimha destroyed Hiranyakashipu, no doubt about that. So, both Killudal and Kalaidal, nipping with nail and destroying, hold good for the case of Narasimha slaying Hiranyakashipu. Point number 7, final point. Periyalvar, the father of Andal, sings in his Thirupallandu, எந்தை தந்தை தந்தை தந்தைதம் மூத்தப்பன் ஏழ்படிகால் தொடங்கி வந்து வழிவழி ஆட்செய்கின்றோம் திருவோண திருவிழவில் அந்தியம்போதில் அரியுருவாகி அரியை அழித்தவனை பந்தனை தீர பல்லாண்டு பல்லாயிரத்தாண்டென்று பாடுதுமே. Balakavi Sri Sundarajan IAS Swami has given a Sanskrit translation also for this verse of Thirupallandu. Mattata tata pitrikalata etya dasyam vamshakramena tanumas shravanotsavosau Bhutva pradosha samaye arimahan hariryaha tam dritti dosha vigamaya jayeti vachmaha. Its meaning is, starting from a great grandfather, grandfather, father, and right unto me. Periyalvar says, we have all been serving Lord Narasimha for over 7 generations. So this verse clearly shows that Lord Narasimha is the family deity or Kula Devata of Periyalvar, as well as her daughter Andal, and Andal rightly sings about her Kuladevata Lord Narasimha in the line Pollarakanai Killikalaindan. So I would like to summarize all these 7 points in the form of a shloka. I quoted this shloka in the beginning also. Samharatu nakhena daitya nripatehe tasyapi raksho gunat bhuyah kruramatehe tataiva sharabhasyasya bhangat harehe कीर्तेश्चापि जगत्सु च रिपोहो उन्मूलनात् मर्दनात् गोदायाः कुलनायको नरहरिः तत् श्रीव्रते प्रस्तुतः. Thank you.
वेदांत लक्ष्मण मुनीन्द्र कृपात् तवोदं तत्पाद युग्म सरसीरुह भृङ्गराजं त्रय्यन्त युग्मकृतभूरि परिश्रमं तं श्रीरङ्ग लक्ष्मण मुनिं शरणं प्रपद्ये. श्रीवत्सवं शकलशोदधिकौस्तुभस्य श्रीवासरागगुरोस्तनयं ततश्च विद्या अवाप्य विधोत्तमदां दधानं कुर्वे सदा हृदि गुरुं करुणाकराख्यं. Let me try to do the justification with the incarnation of the Lord Parashurama towards this Polla Arakkanai Killikalaindani. Let us see first the word by word meaning for this. the Arakkanai. What is the difference between Asura and Araka? As Dr. Venkatesh Swami said, the Araka, when Hiranyakashipu did Bhagavad Apacharam to his own son, he is termed as an Araka. But Uttamur Veeraragacharya Swami, in his Tirupavai Vyakyanam, he mentioned the clear distinction between the Araka and Asura. Asura are the Dayadis of Devas, and the Araka, in general, like whoever does misdeeds to the humanity. If karma, if a guy did some bad thing, some bad misdeeds to others, he is termed as Araka. That's what Swami has mentioned it. Let's take this adjective with Polla Arakkan. Okay, how we can define this Polla Arakkan? A guy can do a misdeed to a whole lot of group in one time. He is termed as Polla Arakkan. So naturally, who can do this? A guy whoever rules entire country. If a king who needs to lead his country in a dharmic way, according to Shastras, and he needs to look after his subjects, and if a king is not doing that, and if he is doing something, a whole lot of misdeeds, then the entire country will suffer. He is the sole guy can make everyone suffer with his misdeed. So Arakkan we can term Arakkan as a king, any king who is not leading his country according to Shastras. Okay. Killik Kalaindan. Let's take why or how we can understand this Killik Kalaindan in a farming. When farmers plant saplings, rice paddy, let's say, the unwanted plants, trees as well will grow along with this in the paddy field. So the farmers periodically they go and pluck these unwanted samplings. So most of the times they can pluck these samplings with their hands, but some of them will be hard rooted, so they might need some weapons to pick it up. So it's not all the time the farmers will go and he will be able to pluck the plants in his the unwanted plants through his hand. Now, so you need some of the tools for it, some of the instruments for it. So Killik Kalaidal me. So you need it is not that just plucking everything with the hand alone. Okay, the Killik Kalaindan is coming in the sense we need to see it in way like he did not take much strain to get it. In that sense, we need to look that word. Now, coming to Parashurama, how can we relate it? When the Kartavirya Arjuna did Apacharam to Jamadagni, Parashurama went, and everyone knows that Kartavirya Arjuna is also an Amshavataram of Bhagavan Vishnu, and as well as like Parashurama is also an Amshavatara. When he just Parashurama went, Kartavirya Arjuna has enormous powers. He is not like a Hiranyakashipu. Okay, he has because Vishnu's Amsha is also with Kartavirya Arjuna. Parashurama went and he just won Kartavirya Arjuna. It is not only Parashurama won against Kartavirya Arjuna. He uprooted the entire Kshatriya clan for 21 lineage. When Swami Deshika says Trisaptakritvaha, he did 21 lineages. Parashurama cleansed it. The reason behind it, the entire Kshatriya clan went on with the misdeeds. They were not ruling properly, and the dharmic ways went. The sages the rishis were not able to do their tapas, and people were suffering a lot. So by seeing this, another reason is his Parashurama's mother was hitting her chest for 21 times. We can relate this to that. But in general, he wants to cleanse that entire Kshatriya family. He also had a rule to that, like he will kill only the guy who has a son, and he just go and cleanse him, and he will leave his son to become a king. He left it. So like Parashurama gave a chance to the rulers to see whether their behavior is changing towards it. So he basically did this as a farmer. He did the Killi Kalaidal. So he did that unwanted saplings from this world. Another thing which we can relate, if we see the Ramavatara, in Ramavatara, Parashurama handed over the Vishnu Dhanush to Lord Rama when Lord Rama and Sita married, and when they are going back to Ayodhya. So Parashurama handed over that Vishnu Dhanush. Using this Vishnu Dhanush only, Rama able to defeat the Ravana. We can say Parashurama used Rama used the Vishnu Dhanush as an instrument to kill Ravana. We can say Parashurama used Rama as an instrument to kill Ravana. This is one thing. I forgot to mention one thing. Andal said Polla Arakkanai, but here when I mentioned about Parashurama killing the entire the Kshatriya clan for 21 lineages, how is that the singular form we can relate to this plurality is here the Jati Ekavachana is mentioned as an entire samudaya. The entire Kshatriya samudaya is mentioned as the whoever is doing the wrong deeds is mentioned in Jati Ekavachana. Another interesting thing, Prativadi Bhayangra Mannangaracharya Swami in his Vyakyanam mentioned that by looking at Thiruvarayirappadi Vyakyanam, he is mentioning that there might be another padam as Arakkargalai, but he has mentioned that. But he also mentioned that in today's text we are seeing it as Arakkanai. So that is behind that. Another interesting thing in Dwapara Yuga, Parashurama is the Acharya for the Bhishmacharya, and he is the Acharya for Dronacharya, and he is the Acharya for Karna, and indirectly he is the Acharya for Pandavas and Kauravas through Dronacharya. So the Parashurama is he is essential. He is also like indirectly he did the entire Mahabharata war, and he did this Killi Kalandan of reducing the Bhubharam. At the time, almost all the kings took part in that war, and whoever did people who fought for Pandavas and as well as Kauravas not everyone is perfect. So Parashurama did that Killi Kalandan on the Dwapara Yuga as well. And this one I did not verify any of the Puranas or Pasurams, but just simply going through folklore, like Parashurama has given the Sudarshana Chakra to Lord Krishna in the Dwapara Yuga. So that is also an essential one of the important things to consider. Lastly, in the Kalki Avatara, Parashurama is going to be the Acharya for the Kalki Avatara as well. So if we see as a whole, as an entire thing, Parashurama is one who is trying to set the field right. Like he wants the dharmic ways need to be in this world. People should follow the varnashrama dharmas, and kings need to rule it perfectly. So he is making, when the head is right, that everything is going to be perfect. So he is trying. He made the kings to pay for their misdeeds, so that when the king rules it, when the king rules in a dharmic way, the subjects also under him will do the same thing. Yatha Raja Tatha Praja. With that, another thing, Rosha Rama is the adjective was given by Swami Deshika to Parashurama. The one needs to be very angry in the sense, this anger needs to be in the right way. He got this anger because the guy who needs to be perfect is not being perfect. Okay, so that is behind the Parashurama's the incarnation related to this pasuram. With this, I am concluding my speech. Thank you. Dasan.
श्रीमद्रङ्गशठादिसंयमवराल्लब्धागमान्तद्वयं श्रीमद्वीररघोद्भातिषडचित्पादारविन्दाश्रियं श्रीमद्वेदवतं सुदेशिकतेः कारुण्यवीक्षास्पदं सेवे रङ्गधुरीणशासनवशं नारायणं योगिनं श्रीमते श्रीलक्ष्मीन्द्रसिंहदिव्यपादुकासेवक श्रीवंशवो श्रीनारायणेतीन्द्रमहादेशिकाय नमः. नमस्ते भाई. So I'll be speaking on Rama, that Pollarakkane Killi Kalaindan was none other than Rama. I'm feeling a little scared now because of how eloquently and convincingly the other two speakers have spoken. But still, I'll try to make a convincing case that it's Rama that Andal is referring to. When we say Pollarakkane Killi Kalaindan, if we loosely translate it, it means one who killed the demon. That's how we will loosely translate Pollarakkane Killi Kalaindan. So to understand Pollarakkane, we'll have to see what the preceding phrase is, which is Pullinvai Kindane. Now Pullinvai Kindane, Pollarakkane are used in apposition. So it's called Samanadhikaranya in Sanskrit. So Pullinvai Kindane and Pollarakkane essentially refer to the same person. So Pollarakkan is used in a very general sense, as a bad demon. Now to understand who that bad demon is, Andal gives us a hint in the Pasuram itself. So she says, the Pollarakan that I am referring to is the one, and who also tore apart the bird. So now tore apart has to be understood as killing the bird. Now which bird are we referring to here? The bird that we are referring to here is Jatayu. Now it's very well known as to how Ravana kills Jatayu. That's a very popular story from the Ramayana. So it's this Rakshasa who killed Jatayu, and the slayer of this Rakshasa is being sung here by Anda. Now one may ask that Jatayu's mouth was not separated. So Jatayu's wings were cut and he was brutally wounded, and that's how he was killed. So now we'll have to understand this a little differently. Pullinvai will have to be understood as invai pull. Invai meaning one who speaks well, who's a good orator or one who says good things. Now Jatayu was a very good speaker, orator, and he was one who used to speak in a very motivating and in a very inspiring manner. So to give a few examples would be as to when Jatayu was on his deathbed and Rama comes to see Jatayu had to tell Rama, because he had very few moments left, so it took very quickly he convey the message that Sita has been abducted by Ravana. So he says it very crisply and in a very succinct manner, befitting a good orator, he passes on the message by saying, Sa devi mocha prana ravane no bhayam hritam. So Ravana has taken away Sita and my life. So very quickly he gives that message. So that shows that he's one with good speaking skills. Not only just that, Jatayu also was one who gave hope and courage to Rama. So when Rama, obviously Rama would have been very distraught, and he would have been shocked to hear that Sita has been abducted. So at that moment, notwithstanding the fact that he's dying, Jatayu instills confidence in Rama by saying that your Sita has been abducted in the Vinda Muhurta, and anything that is lost during this Muhurta can be recovered easily. So with that being the case, you don't have to worry, you'll get your wife back quickly. So he says these sweet, inspiring words, notwithstanding his condition. So this shows that he is invaypul, one who speaks well, who says good, beautiful things. So the shloka in the Ramayana goes like this: Vipranashtam dhanam kshipram tatswami pratipadyate vindo nam muhurtosau nacha kakutsta sobudhate. You don't have to worry. What you lose in this muhurta, you will quickly recover. So I've established that invaypul is Jatayu here, and the one who slayed that invaypul is Ravana, and Andal is talking about that Pollarakan who was effortlessly killed. Now Killi Kalaindan here, it points to the effortlessness with which Ravana was killed. So now moving on to the main part, which talks about Pollarakane Killi Kalaindan. Ravana, not just Ravana, Rama in his entire avatara, wherever he fought with such effortlessness. He never had to struggle to win any battle. Not with just Ravana, but right from his childhood, right from the time he battles Tataka, when he was just a little boy, 16 years of age. Even at that young age, with effortlessness, he goes and kills them. So as Kamba says, Sollokkum Sudusaram. So the way Rama killed Tataka, it was like the way rishis used to shoot curses from their mouths. All of us know how rishis without any effort at all, they just curse someone and they can literally destroy someone. In the sense that they have so much power in their words that that word itself is enough for them to do whatever they want. So whatever they want to achieve, they can just achieve by saying it. So similarly, even Rama, with ease, he just shot arrows and he defeated a demon in like Tataka with such ease. So even Swami Desika in his Raghuvira Gadyam says this: Tanutara Vishika Vidadana Vighadita Vishararu Shararu Tataka Tatakeya. That with effortlessness he destroyed Tataka. So moving on, when Rama went to the forest, single-handedly he fought 14,000 Rakshasas. Single-handedly. Those Rakshasas were very powerful. Notwithstanding that, single-handedly, Killi Kalaindan, he just destroyed them like, one would just pluck weeds out of their garden. So in the shloka in the Ramayana goes like this: Chaturtasya Sahasrani Rakshasa Bhima Karmanam Hantanyekena Ramena Amanushena Padatina. So even that episode establishes Rama's skill as a warrior. With ease, single-handedly, without any help, he can face a battalion of ferocious demons or Rakshasas. So now moving on, the next segment or the next point that I have, I think that's the most important evidence to support the fact that Killi Kalaindan is none other than Rama, because Rama himself declares that he can uh, destroy demons with just his fingers. So this is an instance from Vibhishana Sharanagati, when Vibhishana comes and seeks asylum at Rama's feet. Everybody object, except for Hanuman. Everybody in Rama's camp argue against including Vibhishana because he's from the enemy's side and he may have ulterior intentions. So it would not be a very wise decision to to include him with us. But Rama tries to convince everybody. But eventually, there came a point where he had to make a strong statement saying that it's my vow that anyone who comes and seeks asylum, I'll have to take them within my fold, and that is something that I cannot violate. So that being the case, I have to take Vibhishana, notwithstanding whatever arguments you may have. But Rama never really dismisses them completely, because he's a team player, a great leader, who includes all of his subordinates in the decision making process. So it's not something that he unilaterally decides. But at the same time, he also had to assert the fact that his ultimate decision would be the one that will stand, and the objections of others cannot be they are not tenable. So to establish that, he says this: Pishachan Danavan Yakshan An Prithivyam Sarvaraksasan Angulyagre Anatan Hanyan Ichan Hariganeshwara. He tells Sugriva, look Sugriva, I don't need your help to kill Ravana or his army. I can do that single-handedly. So, even if all the Pishachas, all the Rakshasas, all the Yakshas, and every other bad thing in the universe, comes and attacks me, I can single-handedly destroy all of them. I can just simply destroy them with my fingers. I can just pluck them out with my fingers. So that is how powerful I am. So please don't think that I need your help or anybody's help to destroy Ravana. So Angulya Grenatan Hanyan is the key word here to show that I can just kill them, pluck them out with my fingers. So killing Kalaindan is something that Andal is not conceiving by herself. It's something that she takes from the Ramayana itself. So she's essentially taking the Lord's word itself and putting that in her Pasuram. So this I think would be quite a convincing argument to say that Rama is the one who's being discussed here. So the next and the most iconic battle of the Ramayana obviously is the Rama Ravana battle, and as they say, there is no there's nothing that is similar to the Rama Ravana battle, and that itself is the simile or metaphor. I mean, you can't have a metaphor for that battle. So that itself, so Ravana Yudham, there can't be anything similar to that. So in that battle as well, Rama fights the Mula Bala of Rama, which comprises 29 lakh chariots, 85 lakh elephants, 45 lakh horses, 100 crore infantrymen. So all of them Rama just single-handedly fights and defeats. So this is also something that Rama does with ease. So there is no need for any help from any person for Rama to help him achieve this feat. So he did that all by himself, and that too he does this in 1/8 of a day. Ravana himself, after fighting Rama, praises him, and he says that I am really scared of Rama's arrows. They're like curses from the mouths of rishis. I mean, he just like how rishis utter words, he shoots arrows. That's how he fights. He fights so effortlessly. He's scared of Rama. So he says, Divasasya ashtabhagena sharairagni shikhopamaihi hantanyekena ramena rakshasam kamarupinam. So he says that like the words of rishis, his arrows just come so easily and attack me. even Swami Deshika in his Raghuveer, I'm not able to recall that exact Churnika where Swami Deshika also says this, that with ease Ravana is defeated by Rama. Just like one picks lotus flowers. That's how Rama defeated Ravana. He just plucked Ravana and defeated him. So that is also something that is not coming to my mind. But there is a Churnika in Raghuveera Gadyam where Swami Deshika also endorses that Rama just killi kalaindand Ravana. So with this, I would end my presentation. I also have a few words to say as to how the other deities are not being discussed here. For instance, please Swami spoke about Narasimha, saying that Polla Arakan means one who committed Bhagavata Apachara. So therefore, it has to be Narasimha here. I mean, albeit the central premise of the Ramayana may be, Ravana abducting Sita and Rama going to Lanka, defeating Ravana and getting Sita back. I mean, superficially that may seem to come out of the Ramayana, but as we all know, all of this is an Abhinaya. I mean, one cannot abduct Pirati. It's not possible. The whole idea of the Ramayana is that Rama wanted to spend time with rishis, with Bhagavatas, and also to remove their obstacles physically, personally, by coming down to earth and removing the troubles that they were facing. And now these troubles were being caused by demons like Ravana et al. So his entire group was the one who was committing in Bhagavata Apachara exponentially. So it was many rishis and great Bhagavatas who were suffering at the hands of Ravana. And so to make Ravana pay for those misdeeds, Rama incarnates and he destroys Ravana and the other Rakshasas. So therefore, if Bhagavata Apachara is the central argument for Polla Arakan, I think it would definitely be more applicable, more apt to Ravana because Ravana committed Bhagavata Apachara on a mass scale, whereas Hiranyakashipu did it just probably to Prahlada. So it's only one as opposed to a crore Bhagavatas. So therefore, Polla Arakan can be taken as Rama here, and as Ravana, sorry. And to counter the argument that it's Parashurama, again we'll have to see the effortlessness with which this Polla Arakan was defeated. As I just said, effortlessly Rama has slayed Ravana and the other demons. I don't think that kind of effortlessness was showed by Parashurama, because he had to fight a lot, and so I don't think he effortlessly won battles as like Rama. Vijayaraman Swami also said that indirectly Parashurama was the one who kills Rama because of the Vishnu Dhanush. I'll just say here that maybe the instrument was given by Parashurama, but Rama was the one who knew how to operate that instrument. So it's not the tool, it's the skill with which you operate that tool. So I think that matters more. So you need to know how to operate your weapon. So I mean, you can give me an AK-47, I don't know what to do with it. It's a powerful machine. So it's not the machine alone, it's the operator also. So if you know to operate it skillfully, then it makes sense. Otherwise, having the machine is pointless. So again, it's the prayoga of Rama which was effortless. So therefore, or here again, it's Rama, who's being discussed. Also again, Swami spoke of Anangarachar's Patavedam, where he says, Arakkar Galai. Even Arakkar Galai can be taken here. Countless Rakshasas were slain. So Arakkar Galai also can be taken for Rama. And I don't know what Dushyant Swami has in store for Krishna, and I'm sure he's going to make again a very compelling case. But for that also, I have a very small counter argument here. Effortlessness is not there for Krishna, because even when he kills Kamsa, he has to go through like layers. He has to, like Arvar says, Vargada, Vriviyanai, Mamalain, Maripunai, Vadiruturuti, Urgol Tin Pag, Nugir Segate, Arangin Malare, Kunasur, Paran Male. So there is Kovalaya Pida, there are the wrestlers, and there are stages that he has to go through. He can't just, he just does not simply go and, kill Kamsa. So he has to fight for it, he has to struggle. So again, effortlessness is missing. So therefore, Killi Kalaindan will not be applicable. So therefore, it's Rama alone that is the deity that's being spoken of here. Kavitarki Simhaya Kalyanam Shalini Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha.
श्रीमते निगमांत महादेशिकाय नमः अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः अस्मत्परमगुरुभ्यो नमः. In Tirupavai, which is hailed as the essence of Vedic thoughts, and to which in the acclaimed commentaries our Purvacharyas have stated that it is even possible to get a very scholarly audience for Tiruvaimozhi, but it is very tough to find a scholarly audience for Tirupavai, is the topic of discussion today. In this beautiful Prabandham called Tirupavai, Andal, the hailed mystic poetess, seeks communion with the Paramatma whom she envisioned in Krishna alone. She makes no qualms about hiding her love for Krishna because she mentions about him and his pastimes throughout the Prabandham. So there is absolute consistency and coherence of Andal's love for Krishna throughout the Prabandham. She mentions of his birthplace. Mannu Vadamadurai Maindanai. She mentions about river Yamuna giving way to Krishna. Tuya Peruneer Yamunai Turaivanai. She calls him the lamp for the entire community. She tells Ayar Kulathinil Thondrum Mani Vilakkai. She talks about the vanquishing of the demons by Krishna, where she mentions about Peimulai Nanjundu, Kalla Chagadam Kalakkaliya Kalochi, Pullinvai Kindanai. Remember, I am mentioning Pullinvai Kindanai for Krishna. Kandru Kunila Verindanai to mention Kapithasura and Mavai Pilandanai. His achievement, she loves him. So his achievement of lifting the Govardhana is mentioned, where she tells Kundru Kudaya Viduttane. His vanquishing of the wrestlers, where she tells Mallarai Mattiya. Of him being the biggest fear for Kamsa, she tells Kanjan Vayittil Niruppennan inna Nedumale. The mention of Krishna's biological mother, which is Oruthi Magarai Pirandu. The mention of Krishna's foster parents, Oruthi Magarai Odittu Vadara, Yeraranda Kanni Yashodai, Yemberumati Yashodai, Kurvel Kodantodila Nandagopan, Yemberuman Nandagopan. All this establish her consistency with Krishna Avataram. Of course, one of the very acclaimed scholars and my Sahapatis said, in a Prabandham, in a Pasuram, we will have to look out for what is the meaning mentioned in the previous and the next lines. Let us forget previous and the next lines. I am going to take the entire Prabandham. Vedanta Deshika tells Prabandhasaram. Throughout Tirupavai, she has been speaking only of Krishna. Parashara Bhatta concurs, where he tells that it is Suptam Udbodhya Krishnam. She woke up only Krishna, nobody else. Of course, a preliminary objection may come that she makes references to other avatarams. They are just passing references, and those passing references also indicate only Krishna. Well, I have mentioned a few lines to substantiate her love for Krishna, but the topic is who amongst the incarnations, which is Nrisimha, Parashurama, Rama or Krishna, does Andal indicate in the line Pullinvai Kindanai, next followed by the next line, Pollavarakanai Killi Kalaindanai. While my answer is just going to be Krishna is whom she clearly refers without any doubt in this avataram, it is also a part in our discussions, in our Vedic discussions, to carry out Parapaksha Khandanam and Swapaksha Sthapanam. Now, one of my very learned Sahapatis did speak about Nrisimha Avataram. He did say that she may have referred, and with his point, he did say with lot of conviction that she mentions only Nrisimha Avataram. Let us go to the very acclaimed commentary called Subodhini by the famed preceptor of Sri Ahobilamat, who is the 44th pontiff of Sri Ahobilamat. He is the Aradhaka for Sakshat Nrisimha Swami. He tells that she will not mention about the old lion, Karattu Singam called Nrisimha Avataram. She will mention only about the Ilam Singam Krishna. If a Nrisimha Aradhaka himself has to take the Paksha of Krishna, then imagine how much of strength this Paksha gathers. Now let's take the other point. My Sahapati did mention about Sharabha, who was killed and brought him intelligently under the category of birds. Sharabha may have wings, but he is still treated as an 8-legged animal. So he may not completely come into the category of a bird. One. And second thing, Kurattalvan mentions to defy the allegations that were put on Nrisimha Avataram by people who follow the Tamasa and Rajasa Puranas. Whereas the Satvika Puranas don't mention of any battle of Sharabha and Nrisimha at all. So Sharabha, Shalabo Babuva is an answer to them and not for the Swamaksha Sthapanam. Well, the words Ilam Shingam, Shiriya Shingam, all this some may construe to be indicating Nrisimhavataram, but we should understand about similes and metaphors. Well, let's take Krishna, he's called Yadava Simham. Let's take Vedanta Deshika, he's called Kavitarkika Simham, the lion amongst logicians and the poets. Now let's take, for example, Kesari, Hanuman's father, he was the lion amongst monkeys. Well, in Krishnavataram too, if the word is Nrisimha, which my Sahapati wants to bring into the picture, while Rukmini wanted to draft a letter to Krishna, she said, Kale Nrisimha Naraloka Manobhiramam. It's true that this line indicates Nrisimha may be flawed for more than one reason. The other reason is Sharabha, who's treated as a bird. So Pullinvai Kindanai need not indicate Sharabha, who was vanquished by Nrisimha. And the most important point is Killi Kalaivadu, to even pluck is generally indicated for the head. The nails were of course used, but they were used to tear open, but they were not used for the head. Moreover, to use the word Polla to say that he was very demoniac in nature, we must also have statements which completely prove of them. Let us take this statement. Nitya Atma Avyayaha Shuddhaha Sarvagaha Sarvavit Paraha Dhattesa Vatmanolingam Mayaya Visirjan Gunan. He talks about the eternal nature of the Jivatma. He talks about the impermanence of the material body. He takes that the Paramatma is the one who spread everywhere. These are all qualities that are mentioned in the Vedanta, and you will be surprised. The statement that I had produced, that this is the meaning of Jivatma, is being mentioned by Hiranyakashipu to Rishabhanu in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So to a person who has understood the importance of Vedantic knowledge, to finally assign the word Polla needs a lot of referential substantiation. Now let's go to the Paksham of Parashurama. Now, coming to Parashurama, he is treated as an Aveshyavatara by many of our Acharyas, where one of Lord's qualities is induced in a Jivatma. When Andal has been aspiring for the communion with the Paramatma, I do not think she will be referring to an Aveshyavatara. Let us for a moment also think, to give solace to my Sahapati, that she may be referring to Parashurama Avataram. What does the statement read? Polla varakkanai killi kalaindanai. Yes, he did nib away, pluck away the head of a person. But it was his own mother Renuka Devi. So Renuka Devi, whose head was plucked, need not fit into the word Polla varakkanai. Yes, he did kill Kartavirya Arjuna by taking away his hands. So that may not fit into killi kalaindanai. One more thing. In Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya by Ananda Tirtha or Madhvacharya, here are the verses. Pura Atulo Nama Mahasuro Abhavat Varat Satu Brahmana Apa Lokatam Punaschatam Praha Jagat Guru Riyada Harirjitaha Syadvi Tadaiva Vadhyase. So he tells, where Parashurama is speaking to Rama, he tells Rama, now that you have won over me, kill Atula, an asura called Atula, who is resting within me. So Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnayam, through the words of Parashurama, state that Parashurama had a demon who was resting in him, which gave him this anger. So Polla varakkanai killi kalaindanai, if that indicates Parashurama, then what about the demon who was resting inside Parashurama comes as per this pramanam. So let us forget Parashurama for a moment. Now let us come to the Paksha where my Sahapati said that Rama is the one who is indicated by the line Polla varakkanai killi kalaindanai. To the solace of my Sahapati, most of the Acharyas who have written acclaimed commentaries on Ramayana in the 2000 padi, 3000 padi, 4000 padi and 6000 padi Vyakhyanam by Swami Periyavachan Pillai, by Swami Azhagiyamanavada Perumal Nayanar, by Swami Aya Jananyacharya indicate that Polla varakkanai killi kalaindanai indicates Ravana, thereby it indicates Rama who vanquished Ravana. Well, I would be very happy to support this Paksham if there were lot of references. Let me now bring one reference from Srimad Ramayanam. Sa pravishya purim lankam rakshasendro vibhishanaha Ravanasya Agnihotram tu Niryapayati Satvaram. Vibhishana had to go and conclude the Agnihotra which was performed by Ravana. So if Ravana is treated as a Brahmana and thereby Agnihotra, Polla Arakkanai needs a lot of substantiation. Yes, Ravana did misbehave with the wife of Takshaka. He did misbehave with Rambha, Punjikasthala, Vedavati and many more. While his intent was to abduct and misbehave with Sita too, our Acharyas opine that his intent was not accomplished. It was she who with her grace went to Lanka. Tanichirayil Vidapputra Kilimuriyal tells Alvar. And Pillalokacharya also supports where he tells Shirayirundavalin Yetram Sollitru. Now let us understand Ravana's intent while abducting Sita. Valmiki states, Jagraha Ravanaha Sitam Buddhaha Ke Rohinim Iva. Like Buddha, the sun, abducts the stepmother Rohini, did Ravana abduct Sita. His intent may have been Polla, but while he was abducting, his intent changed to that of a mother and son. Hence, the word Polla may not fit there too. Well, Parakala states, Madil Neer Ilangai Val Arakkar Talaivan Talai Pattaruttu Handan. And to support that, Swami Vedanta Deshika may state, Uittakkanayar Attiravan Arakkan Mudi Pattumoru Kottu Yena Udirta Tiralon. But now let us again refer to Valmiki, who states, Tadapya Shani Sankashais Chinnam Ramasya Sayakaihi Evameva Shatam Chinnam Shirasam Tulya Varchasam Visrishto Mahavegat Sharirantakarasharaha Cheda Hridayam Tasya Ravanasya Duratmanaha. While Rama wanted to take away the heads of Ravana, they kept coming again and again. So Valmiki states that the arrow was the one which hit its chest. So Killikalaindanai, Pollavarakkanai, how will it fit? So neither Killikalaindan nor Pollavarakkan fits exactly into Ravana. Now let's go to Swam Pakshasthapanam. Let's go to Sishupala. Mahakavi Magha in Sishupala Vadham states, well, one of my sahapatis in Parashurama Avatara Paksham did state that it is Jatyeka Vachanam. Now let us take what Magha states about Sishupala. He tells, Sa Vedi Yadasavako Saveko Jetavyas Chediraditi Rajayakshmeva Roganam. In fact, Sishupala is mentioned as tuberculosis. So that is also a group. So if he talks about Jatyeka Vachanam, then the colocin of cells under tuberculosis will also apply to Sishupala. Now let us understand what were the sins committed by Sishupala. He wanted samyam with Krishna. He wanted to be like Paramatma. That is why during his birth, Sishupala had 4 hands like Lord Sriman Narayana. He wanted samyam with the great Vaishnava called Lord Shiva, and hence he was born with 3 eyes. Mahabharata Shlokam substantiates this. Chediraja kule jataha trayaksha yesha chaturbhujaha rasa bhariva sadrisham rarasa cha nanada cha. So he tells, Vyasa tells that he was born with the samyam of 4 hands and 3 eyes. That itself was a strict competition which a Jivatma should never give to a Paramatma. Next, he wanted to marry Rukmini, the incarnation of Mahalakshmi, despite knowing her love for Krishna. He went ahead with all the rituals as evident by Andal's own view. Kannalan kodittu kannirannai kaipidippan thinar nirunda Sishupalan teshadindu. Well, we have been said, Advesham, no disgust. Practice no disgust towards anybody. But he was the one who practiced disgust. Gopyaha kamat bhayat kamsaha dveshat chaityodayo nripaha states Bhagavata Shlokam. Is he the one who hated Krishna? Absolutely. This was Bhagavata Pacharam. How do we understand that? Sage Nammalvar states, Ketpar Shevishudu Kilmai Vasavugalai Vayum Shetpal Palampagaivan Sishupalan Tiruvadi. Now, my Sahapati who spoke about Bhagavata Pacharam in the context of Prahlada, though he was affected, at the end of the avataram, he seeks forgiveness for his father. Sishupala's acts were so high that nobody sought forgiveness from him. One. Second thing, he also committed a Bhagavata Pacharam. Today in Bhagavad Guna Darpanam, Parashara Bhatta states, Mahabharata Saratvat Rishibhih Pariganataha Vedacharya Samaharat Bhishmotkrishnamatatvataha. In Sabha Parva in Mahabharata, when Bhishmacharya stood in defense of Krishna, Shishupala committed the offense of Bhagavatapacharam too. He said, Kohi dharmosti te Bhishma brahmacharyam idam vrutha yad dharayasi mohadva klibatvad samshayaha. All your brahmacharyam itself is a falsehood. Do not lie, you liar. He shouted at Bhagavatam, at a Bhagavata. So he committed Bhagavataapachara. He wanted to have Samyam. Now, are these faults enough? I will give you another list. Who has given this list? What I am going to state. In Sabha Parvam, Lord Krishna himself tells the mistakes committed by Shishupala. While Krishna had gone to Pragjyotishapura to fight Narakasura, the entire city Dwaraka was attacked in the absence of an emperor by Shishupala. Second, when Bhojaraja's attendants were attacked by Shishupala, when Ashwamedha ritual was performed by Vasudeva, the horse was stolen by Shishupala. When Akrura's wife was going on a travel, she was abducted by Shishupala. He has kidnapped somebody else's wife. He wanted to marry the lady who was loved by Krishna immensely and whom she was in love with. He wanted to attack a city when it was emperorless. He wanted to commit as many sins as possible by abusing a great Bhagavatottama like Bhishma. He wanted to abuse the Lord Krishna himself 100 times. With so many faults by his side, he was the Pollavarakkan. Now, how does Killikkalendan apply? It was Sudarshana Chakra which was left by the nail-laid finger of Krishna towards Shishupala where his head was chopped. So the verb of Killikkalendan and the object thereby which is the head is applied. So Samanadhikaranyam may go well here as how my Sahapati pointed. Now, Kashi Viplosha Chaidakshapa Dharani Dvamsa Surya Pidhana tells Kuranarayana ji here. And in another place, Villiputturar states, Meviya Pagaya Maitunan Mudiyai Vilakkudaikku Visi. So Villiputturar in his Bharatam also tells that his head he was beheaded. Second, it is also said that Sudarshana Chakra was used. Now coming to the last point. The nails of Nisimha were given a lot of importance from Nakastuti of Ananda Tirtha. Nails have been deemed very high in the last namam Sarva Praharana Yudha Om Namaiti. So Sarva Praharana Yudha does imply that the one who uses nails. But who is the one whom it indicates? Devaki Nandana Srashta. Even that Vishnu Sahasranama which points towards the nails was recited in front of Krishna. So it was Krishna with absolute references from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a Satvika Puranam, from the Suktis of Purvacharyas, and especially from Sri Mahabharatam, which refers that Krishna is the one who is referred to by Andal in consistency with her take on the entire Prabandham, and it is Shishupala who was beheaded by Krishna and nobody else. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha.
Dear Bhaktas and Astikas, we have heard the speech of all the four eminent scholars. At the beginning, Dr. Venkatesh was very categorical in bringing forth his point that what Andal was referring to is none other than Sri Narasimha. And the words to some extent was in his favor, that Killikkalendan. So Killigan means using the hand and using the fingers. And Polla Arakkan, because he was cruel to his own son, it refers to Hiranyakashipu. So he was very categorical in telling that it was Lord Narasimha only. He also said Pullinvai Kindan refers to Sarava. That again, it was refuted by rightly Sri Bhushan, that Sarava is not a bird, it is an animal. And the praise which all the people were singing for Narasimha is accepted all over the world. That is another point mentioned by him. But all these things are to be examined in another angle also. Kolla Arakkan, Narasimha killed the Hiranyakashipu who is cruel to his own son. But there are other Rakshasas or Asuras or the Arakas who are more cruel than. The Prahlada was at least a lad, a school-going boy. But what Kamsa did, the cruel aspect of Kamsa is he separated even the newborn child. 6 children were killed by Kamsa, and even Krishna had to go in hiding because of the cruelty. So the Kolla Arakkan does not mean only the Hiranyakashipu. It can be more cruel persons other than him. And Killi Kalaidal means doing it with ease. I can just like that do. It is like the action which is done with ease of plucking a flower or nipping the bud or nipping the tender leaves. So the ease of operation is referred to and not the physical act of using the nails and fingers. Anyway, that is one point of view which Mr. Venkatesh was focusing his point. Coming to the second speaker, he was referring to the avatara of Parashurama, where he has slayed all the bad things. This avatara was meant to remove the bad elements. And Kolla Arakkan, he was referring to as all the bad elements in the world who are all causing troubles to the whole world and the sadhus. The protector who are to be the kings turned into the troublemakers. So the avatara was for that purpose. But Andal, I think that she might not be keeping Parashurama in her mind while composing this Pasura. Kolla Arakkan, Killi Kalaidal, it is meant for doing cruelty to a great extent. See, this Parashurama avatar, the cruel things or the bad elements were all removed, but we can't attribute this or compare this with the other cruel acts like the Hiranyakashipu or Kamsa or others. So, I really feel that the Parashurama avatar also, it can be not so cruel. The removal of the persons who are not so cruel compared to the others, like Hiranyakashipu or Kamsa, because he killed the kings who are all very grown and very powerful, all these things. So the cruelty is not that much in degree compared to the others. The third speaker, Srihari, was referring to Rama avatar. Unfortunately, he had very little time for this preparation, but he did his best to bring forth the point that Rama himself has said that Angulya grain, that means he will kill Ravana with his nails. He is also a Kolla Arakkan because he separated the consort of Rama, which is the most cruel act. Separating the Divya Dampati itself is one of the cruel acts. It is again on a comparison of the cruelty. We find he has separated a lady, whereas the others like Hiranya or Patla, the Kamsa, they were dealing with children. The children are more vulnerable or compared to the grown-up lady. So this aspect also is to be considered. What was in the mind of Sri Andal when she composed this pasuk? As rightly said by Dr. Venkatesh, we have to take an overall view of the words earlier said and later said, and not only in the same pasuk but also in other pasukas. If you look at the flow of Tirupavai, the Prabandham is intended for Lord Krishna and the Nondu is meant for achieving him. Therefore, the focus of the entire Prabandham is on Lord Krishna. But she is referring to Lord Krishna by his various names. Like in the first Pasuram itself, she says that Narayanane Namake Parai Tharuvan. She does not mention Krishna there. In the next Pasuram, she says that Payyattuindra Paramanadi Badi. She is referring to the Tirupparkadal Ananta Sayanam. Third Pasuram, she says Ondi Udahanta Uttam. Though she is referring to various incarnations of the Lord, they are all names attributed to Krishna, which has been beautifully explained by His Holiness Srivan Shadagopasri Vedanta Desika Edintra Mahadesigan in his Sugabodhini, the commentary for Tirupavai. Every Pasuram, every word, he is justifying it that it is only meaning Lord Krishna. Sri Dushyant Sridhar said that even the Acharya who is sitting in the Narsimha as Alagi singer, he is above the Narsimha, Alagi Singan. Malolan is called Alagi Singan, whereas our Acharyas are called Alagi Singers with respect, because they are much more, or they are high compared to Lord himself, because they are accessible to us. Lord Malola is not that much accessible, but they are very much before our eyes, listen to us, bless us, give us comfort, and give us and take us even to the moksha. So such an Acharya categorically says that every Pasuram is talking only about Krishna. Here, in this Pasuram, Pullinvai Kindani, though this was not added in the heading, Pullinvai Kindani is also the words which have to be taken into account. As Samanadikaranya, our Vidwan sitting speakers are all Kalakshepa students of Sri P.S. Karnagaracharya Swami, and Samanadikaranya has been taught to them in detail by him. So they are all able to talk about it even in this e-Patashala, online service. See, the Pullinvai Kindane, there is no doubt the Bakasura was killed by Krishna. Though Jatayu has been referred by Srinidhi Swami in his Manju Ramayana. He says, Pullinvai, that means who speaks well or who gives good hopes with his words. It can be extended. Still, the Acharyas and scholars, they are capable of extending any words to any avatar. It is the avatara, the words of such Andal gives so much of flexibility which our Acharyas are capable of using them to their advantage. And similarly, the speakers also are following the same footsteps. Pullinvai Kindani, see, normally when a simple meaning is available, we have to go by that instead of trying to bring in difficult meanings with more efforts. So Pullinvai Kindani refers to Krishna. And Kolla Arakkan. Kolla Arakkan here, the Dushyant Sridhar was referring to Shishupala, and it can even taken as Kamsa, because the Kamsa is the most cruel person who has separated the just born kid from their parents. What can be more cruel than this? Another thing, the effort what Krishna was using to kill Kamsa, he went for Dhanuryaga just for fun, just for game playing, and he roams around Mathura and enjoys himself by taking garlands from the suppliers to the king, taking the sandal paste from the pony. Like that, he is enjoying himself. He was not in any tension. He is such a small boy of 12 years, whereas he is going to face all the Asuras or the Arakas sent by Kamsa never returned back to Mathura. They all came and they are gone. And when they entered the Dhanuryaga arena, they were first greeted by the mighty, the elephant, Kolayapita, and the small boy, Kamsa, Krishna and Balarama, lifted the elephant by holding its tusk and rotating and throwing it away. This was the effortlessness of a boy, which can be called like a child play. That's why Killi Kalanga. Similarly, the Chanura Mustika, they are also kicked as a ball in the arena. And Krishna went and killed Kamsa by climbing on his throne and just pulling him down. So these are all the effortlessness what our Srimad Alagi Singer has told, that though Killi Kalandan can be easily referred to Narsimha, but why to talk about the old line when the new young line is in front of us? So I remember one an incident when Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, they are the boxers, very renowned boxers, and they had a fight and Muhammad Ali was winning. At one stage, Muhammad Ali lost, and he says that he is greatest, but Mike Tyson said, I am the greatest. Like that, Narsimha is greatest, no doubt, but the latest one is Lord Krishna. Andal loves Krishna. She is fond of him, and she is referring him, may refer to other incarnations, but in her mind, she looks all of them as Krishna only. So with this, I feel that Andal's mind was referring to Krishna only in the line that Valla Arakkanai Killi Kalindhanai. And with this, I thank all the speakers who has done their job very well and who has given a very good speech, and I hope the audience will enjoy and will also be blessed with the blessings of Sri Andal and Lord Krishna. Thank you. Dhanyasmi.
నాదిర తొందిర తదియని దానిది నాదిర తొందిర తదియని దానిది హృదీం హృదీం నాదిర తొందిర తదియని దానిది హృదీం హృదీం నాదిర తొందిర తదియని దానిది
பக்தி மார்க்கத்துக்கு வித்திட்டது யார்?
தனதிரனா தஜனுதீம் தனதிரனா
தமிழ் மொழியை வளர்த்தது யார்? நாம் கற்க வேண்டியது யாது? இவ்வனைத்துக்கும் விடை ஆழ்வார்களும் அவர்கள் கொடுத்த திவ்ய பிரபந்தமுமே ஆகும். ஆழ்வார்களின் வாழ்க்கை வரலாறும் அவர்கள் அருளிச் செய்த பாசுரங்களில் உள்ள அழகும் அந்த அழகுக்கு மேலும் அழகு சேர்க்கும் வியாக்கியானங்களும் அந்த பாசுரங்களால் பொலிவு பெறும் திவ்ய தேசங்களும் இவ்வனைத்தையும் ஒருங்கிணைக்கும் வகையே அபினவ பாடசாலா வழங்கும் பிரபந்த சாரபோதனி, a comprehensive e-course. மேலும் விவரங்களுக்கு kindly visit www.desikadaya.org/aep. வாரீர் பக்தி தமிழில் இணைவோம்.